Premo atu ye mamunyina hamama kwa ba diba UTV subra so sense maudra ye saka ya boabo no ye de besomo aseda eko e de ma this way chocolate drink e Ghana cocoa ne de ye ede aya no anu bi your best point savings and loans and the best assurance special ice natural mineral water ne drinks awodo ne kan obi nene omobo michidom ensema ye de eba no edoso de di mu akotini ebi ene se Omampenya bedi echire MPP amayekoni Frank Kreni edi atum esum gidi ahodo no anim se omunya gidi amapa ewo mani mu na mmamo mani dachi enye krabehwe Oswafo hwe nkronkitua ne nkrase mpuntuo so ekọ apro ewo mantifi mante mpuntuo ahodo no aba no eye no wokọ akohwe yede ani beche mu onyita wuta a eno no ewo fra mante mu adehye no akasa echire mu ese eniema eboa ma asetene tumpo no mu ni bi enu timpenifo entwa nani emehwe wo ensam no ebi eka ho na donhwe baako entem ekua ajewa akode magepeni a mede ba beso mo afei ensam no enchire mu eni Oswafo hwe nkronkitua ne nkrase mpuntuo so eyon mwenyan format na Jeme Sakosa na wode aprobo agyehye so mantifi mantemu a mpuntuo ahodo aba no eye eno ewo ekwan ho no woko akohwe na wode atodwa ache contractor for no a eye Gulf of Guinea Northern Regional Social Concession omo eye no wase omonye niye eno eche nsu Ghana Secondary City Support Program ne so no wachem se contractor for no nya ntem na muama mpuntuo emra
cannot be happy about that. And so those that we have seen to be okay, I can promise you, we are consulting amongst ourselves, the technical people, the consultants, and we'll terminate them according to law. There will be no excuses to it. And a case an example is what I just mentioned about the airstrip. If the contractor doesn't deliver, so be it. You know, before you even talk of the contractor, there are other people who are supposed to be on the project, the consultants, the other engineers. And so it's a whole chain and you need answers to why it hasn't. What we can say is that as a ministry, we can say these situations are not arising out of us. Once we give you the contract, you have enough resources. You must deliver. And so those that have failed to deliver, if at the expiration period, you've done just about 30% of it, you obviously do not have any commitment to continue. And so we'll terminate them in accordance with law. And as soon as possible, get them awarded to other people who can perform. Under the contract, there are clauses which enjoins you to deliver. If you fail to deliver, right away, there can be no further excuses. These projects are time-bound, and they are strategically financed by the World Bank to achieve them in a record time for the benefit of the communities. And so any further delay of these projects becomes a problem to the communities. They've been selected according to the prioritized needs of those communities. If you look behind us, this chip compound is going to serve virtually all the adjoining communities here. And if you delay on this project, it affects their access to healthcare. And so if you know what goes into the selection of these projects, you just cannot fail. And we've made sure that there is resources for it. You have absolutely no excuse not to deliver on it when you assess it.
Ejumadin ayema enkudaye ebromo ahoodin so aye friend se child labor no ena ewiase nada da ye di esuwo no maye ka ho asem no Ghana ha sei no so afa wo no ehwe nwuma ne akwadie so akwakoda no edi ewo Jamestown we no wo enkran na wakasa di tudwa echiremu ese eni kwan se ema ankora ye ejumadin efri se ekọ editi o mapomuden ena afekrampu nso mu yedi
Asoya ehwe apadie hu nsam so no ede atu eja ese se wo hwe enkwada dodo no a ewo yempo ano ahodo no a dodo no a ye de wonom ekọ ensuo so ema wonom ekọ koyi enam ya adesua ye sefata se enkwada ne nsaka no enya de a wonom nsaka enti World Day Against Child Labor Jamestown ekọ so ewo ho no manche agbo na fishing community ba ko a ewo enkran ha no wo de agina so a cheche ensunsuan so a eba ebra ebesi mofra ne kwan emma wonom enkosua de na wotumi agina brane ewo omemu Sector Minister Onmunyafo Ignatius Bafo Ewua eni Greater Accra mantam so afo Onmunyafo Daniel Nico Titus Glover ekojumedie na sibia wonso ede wanu disem etu eja.
I'm happy you are chairing this program today. The reason being that the traditional authority, and especially when I listened to your resume, I concluded that you are the best link between our ways of doing things traditionally and then also our modernized ways of doing things. Because by being a chief, you understand the customs of your people and the traits of your people, but also taking advantage of formal education that you have had. You also understand where we want to go and how we can also be competitive in the future of world of work that we are all looking up to. We want you to lead the charge by asking your people to make education a must for every child within this community.
The theme for this year, let's act on our commitment, end child labor, is a call to action. It is a reminder that our promises must translate into tangible actions and measurable outcomes. We must go beyond words and pledge to implement effective policies, strengthen enforcement mechanisms, and support the most vulnerable amongst us. I see this as an opportunity to reaffirm the government's commitment to end child labor and to inspire others to join us in this noble cause. As leaders, stakeholders in our communities, we must work together to create a future where every child can thrive and reach his or her full potential.
Everybody needs to be educated. No get free SHS ba. Koni wo use le ke opportunity na nwo na ne. Nwo bi e bonita flat e wo peli bi agbo tele ame. No ne sa na etuo. No ne sa ni efio. Just because ota is school fees ni igbaya school. No ba da Ghana chi. They my friend, my no, they get opportunity now. One wo mami my layer. Okay, bekebi afi bekebi. Ni school aka me here. Ni no dan ma afi ame wo sego. Afi ojogba ni twanu mo nyaba.
Twetwe adifri atosodie mu meche vegetable oil eno ebine nkrofo dia fa kuntuna se ababe piem osi mbidwa kese enim enam so ama ekobi etese custom division ewo Ghana Revenue Authority National Security Operative ni nkrofo ahodo eka ho bi no akwaje adifri omo ensem section no empenifo kasafa ho
ena ba ye no je tun se o ma sa de no ma na sa ba market biem o ma sa de no ma na ba market be continue person create awareness say still we are still on them say no man almost bano omutu oy no almost bano omutu duty no the person almost stop on omutu duty ma banti me nyesika de that is so far so good ye ba ye nya nipa ba mienu na ache wonum akoni de ka ya megina hu they should do the right thing because say esa companies no so ye no o many no so one product no amount for to because one so ba no e ba turn cheap price until we are telling one so say they should stop it because anya science aka one dia e do mo be fa emra kwaso suppliers no ye hia one supply e di free border no so di ba no until true say one turn market no ye nya one a ye sabet mi aka suppliers no We need the suppliers that supply the thing from Togo into the country.
Efiri juma kese pa ene wotema ne mpotemu ne so kodru tema empuntuo no ato apika krenam so ama enei emebune wotema kasa de tudwa kire mu se de anwuma no enye ne mamoa mempuntuo mama mabunu nya adwuma nye na afenso kwan dodo aseye no ese empenifo eye hu bibi
Central Oil Refinery, because every time no oil no nkrofo no omusuro enti at least omo take risk. Anything can happen in case of any explosion. Yes, omo social corporate responsibility no. The people of the mama here no, they must know. And yes, bia di nkrofo kitiwa bi be dili. Ye here library e what mama here. Ye here so many things e what mama here. Educational facilities. Fisher folk omo here premix fuel. Fisher folk omo here premix fuel. Now omo dey call fishing. At least say 108,000 liters of premixed fuel cry ye di be matemama here community no na ye di bia boa afari for no fisher folk no omo to me di bi be library ye di bi be nyama bebre wo ho ye di be to me aye development beba community no but akoya bibi ti say nipa kakra bi pe ena omo dili ena we no so enye transparent so ye pese ye hu omo corporate social responsibility because near koso no enye ye sisi the people of the mama here ejuma ni ho youth no wo ho ena companies no wo ho no but kohwe omo bu youth no nya ejuma ye nti say di mega refinery $2 billion contract sum ye di aba. Even as we speak now, no, almost per se parliament and more tax waiver. But the people there are almost taking risk. Ye di oil refinery na banu, almost benefits no. Mum per se mube ni obi anim. Inte I say almost Fred deba. Na company no ombra MPS almost omumbra. Gapon ade at least almost asi park. Stadium, mini stadium, the people of Temama, your friend in Manchester Park. Until we want to know corporate social responsibility from Central Oil Refinery. Ebe my youth now be benefit. Me personally, I met with the chairman of Central Group of Companies. Also, about to me abua. But lack of transparency. Ye nim near ekoso. And every time in Crofonu almost through. This is an appeal to MPS, any Central Oil Refinery. Say, dear bois na omudi bois tema mahiafo so that they can benefit in the area of jobs, in the area of education, in the area of health. Nyama bebre, even fishing. Fishermen for say with premix fuel.
Kasangoju medie efa adansi entutuye ehu ne Ghana puntio meche real estate industry in Ghana and national development akoso ewo enkran enam so ama lawyer chachuchi kata akasa de atudwa se ebre aso se eba adansi ehye na yefa no asemhia ne yema na yani ebre so fi se eye kwan ye beboa ma Ghana yenya amanoni sika ebe mankrofo nso so enye adwumaye
to help in generating more foreign exchange for the country. And the real estate industry has assets which are of interest to people outside, people, Ghanaians outside, African Americans, and they are willing to pay for these real estates in foreign exchange. So the more we can generate this kind of interest from outside in buying assets here, the better. But secondly, I'm insisting that when they acquire these assets from foreign exchange that they pay, these foreign exchange resources should not be taken out through illicit financial flows. Because I refer to the fact that the Thabo Mbeki panel, they looked at what they called illicit financial flows from Africa. And they talked about $50 billion a year illicitly going out of Africa. So it's not good enough if we get in the foreign exchange and then it goes out illicitly. So we need to protect that foreign exchange. The third point is that the foreign exchange can be increased on a sustainable basis if the real estate developers reach global standards of real estate development, because that will attract more investment. That will also enable the financing for real estate development in Ghana to be at a lower cost in terms of interest, because there will be financial institutions out there which are willing to invest in this real estate at a much lower cost than we currently have from our banks. I think, first of all, real estate developers need to develop an innovative outlook to what they are undertaking. They need to know that the world is changing very rapidly. New technologies are being made available, whether for energy supply, infrastructure development, actual construction technologies, and so on. So innovation, which enables them to reduce their costs and which enables them to provide for the occupants of their buildings.
But I say, you better educate people more on, the land issues in Ghana. If you look within the Ghanaian system, land system is fraught with a lot of issues, institutional bottlenecks when it comes to registration, ownership, acquisition, disposal, and all of that. And so we created this lecture series to educate people more, and also to learn from the expertise of renowned lawyers such as lawyer Chatuchi Kata, who was around today to deliver his speech. Subsequently, from Thursday up until June, we'll have lawyers such as lawyer Kwame Jan taking us deeply into the intricacies of land law in Ghana.
Ghana nimdifo ehyiemu adwendwene eho ekwan yebefa so a yebenya adwempo baako ne agina sode ama aban bia wode empunti ohyehyeye no ebeko animu eno matune din se Ghana Compact Citizen Convention ekoso ewo Legon Siaponim enam so ama Africa Center for Economic Transformation penyini kwanche forward no Dr. Kingsley Y Amwako ekiremu se empunti ohyehyeye ebeboa ni ade ye ho ade afisikasemu no enya na se enanya yegina so no Ghana
Economic transformation, the former asset, African Center for Economic Transformation, in 2008. Me fi Addis Ababa from Economic Commission, Bantam firm, because me share Africa, I've been for 50 years. 50 years. We started World Bank, and I'm a Economic Commission for Africa for 10 years. Nambaha. So me who Africa, any development over the years. Most of them are so. I did back into Nieman and say, your structure of the economy, you grow, you change. Oshem Nema, you exporter, cocoa, we know, interview for export diversification. I say it may export other things. Say prices fall near Huachi. We share begin to say technology is so important. Be a friend productivity. You grow, how much do you go out of something? So there are specific things I say. Into the BBA by a friend index. I share how countries are doing over the last 20 years on exports, on production, on your friend and productivity, on technology. So you look at 30 African countries over the last 20 years to see how overall no Africa the score is 0 to 100. 100 the highest. The average, for Africa is 30. So in Africa, we are not a high transformer. So Into that, there are a lot of things we need to do for agriculture. Say, we have a lot of land, small scale. We have to go commercial farming, or we have to even to get land. The Kurano, how can you get commercial land tenure system? No, so there are some major constraints. Into that's why we mean that there's a transformation here.
Na enra ena se ye hwe nkron kitwa ni nkwase mpuntuo so omoda adwumedie bi edi omo ato dini se multi-dimensional poverty index ewo mensi kupon assembly anase kupon ahodo no ahenu aduosia ba ko 261 no na ekwan a wo hia ekoso ene wona wo hia dokro wo mo ne de betimi aye ye kone ye ne onwanyamfo eko Vincent Asefua adi enkomo oyoso afa be de echa wo no ena ahwe nkron kitwa eni kwase mpuntuo eso lawyer memo ha eba UTV so ewie
me joso meni aba na mpachate say
yehu adom yehu ye pa de pese edike ebisa de se ka se multi-dimensional poverty index na eno ene dey.
Well, my mencha out of constituency mencha Ghana manyina no cre ya ka multi-dimensional index de pese change past few years Ibiano poverty index ayana normally no you see a income level the exchange says sika a share the pabutum no an extra say the pano or amuhiamu and as o here brom. Now this time round no per the global standard the Ghana Statistical Service at this time we will do something that we call the multi-dimensional, whereby the indicators indicators no only about income and as sika we no na watch and as osome no one key indicator by employment status nti se yehwe se dipa no owo adwuma a wo ye no be me ehunu se ampa if you can be categorized or if you can fall within a year the poverty line ebi so a year we be a friend housing say baby a what here ne we ye bia wo mu ne sa no mani na no that can also give an indication whether you are into the poverty line and I say you fall into the poverty bracket. That is number 2. Number 3, a year education standards and I say even the access to drinking water and as a potable water and also you're one of the normal extra me who say or fall within the poverty bracket. But make say this time the Ghana Statistical Service was able to do for all the 261 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies. I am rather minister, the Honorable Martin James Akosa, and then the multi-dimensional poverty index no the Ghana Statistical Service for.
Yes, Ghana for a year or 7.3 million. Omuna ehia omo ayekase wodi ehia omo ena wona ehia omo buburo kra no 3.2 million na yekase obi ehia ni buburo a na de be ni bejan so akase wodi ehia ni buburo.
Well, said the Midday can church no normal obejina so ne hu se ehia onipa bi no maybe atwam de na ye osika onya free ebi a wadwuma ma wo ya say income so ebi a wo businessman wo ya bodwa kakra na say wo ya dwuma wo aban mu or anything eno na ekire say say wo hia mu ana say wo ni hia mu. But this time around it is multi-dimensional. As I said, multi-dimensional. If you say you just normal be na ana say indicators 4 or 5 indicators and ekire say obi in fact, the data from 2020 shows that across the country we had about 46% of our people are now say fast forward in 2021 because of the robust social interventions are bounded by and restricted by about 24%, which shows that there has been an increment. Maybe hear me as a policymaker, and they say some of these data is supposed to ensure say aban betumi use that data no to formulate policies na aside they implementing policies nti no betre say normal na aban de to akwan mu no adwuma. Now what can we also do to make sure say we further ameliorate the challenges and also improve the challenges as a bias next time they say you bet me we say be free 24 their baby 18 17, which shows that indeed we are helping society.
Tuesday no organizations ahodo no friends and phone share mu de to yenim say leap no livelihood empowerment no sika na eba no emma eno so kan obi ma ohiana no brase kakra na emma no so ohiana beto akoso aye adwuma sa.
Well, I wish come here, the Minister for Gender and come to me you question, but of course from where I sit, say I buy and make a commitment say bit here sikadia ma obi and you remember the nursing training allowances na kawo mu ba ntimitua and non chese yentua if say some areas are there no because maybe there are some challenges with respect to finances or Ministry of Finance, but then also just say LIPA, it doesn't show say there is poverty. LIPA is supposed to rather go and solve poverty challenges. The various districts are, and so it cannot be a determinant. Say because LIPA is not paid, LIPA is rather supposed to go and solve that challenge at the man in Ghana for.
Say ya pa won to marry multi-dimensional ya pa won to marry way forward in any day.
Well, the way forward they say the municipal chief executives say 261 districts in Nano. First and foremost, they have to equip themselves with the information. And when I was given the closing remarks at the time I near lunch program, one of the things I mean to who hear many say, as a policymaker, what can I do with the data? Then with the data na oba Tafo constituency in Pesua so data na ma hu efi bia na say efia sebe sa ohia no ewo mu nti it won't take somebody who knows my father and also obi oni me maame say ngo kanche obe na wadare mo ombo ame na mentumi nya scholarship in farmer me pay and as farmer me nue. It will rather take the data that we have as a policy maker, as a policy implementer. Say if you way there are challenges in this will be free not so scholarship you have no response, you have no issues of a boss side panel sir data no be boa me hu say we there or say if you crown, and that is what I think that policymakers are supposed to be using that for. And so you're training almost all, and I say we're training all MMDCs about the data, so that MMDCs, at the policy be banner some of the more be common they will know specifically where they are supposed to touch. Because, for example, Oba o Tafo constituency Tafo baby say baby na say bo na 50 meters away obi betimi akwa senso ho na emum no say nipa no eben MC ana say oben MP ntino no asaka atro say wadaro ma me hiensu bi wo me fie nchen because eben ni fie nchen a on 50 meters enko eden ko senso no meanwhile obi so opankro no a woni sa nsuo no, but the data will let you know say indeed you also need that aspect of the development so you can actually take it there because of the data that you have. And across board, and I know that ministers, members of parliament, those who are part of the legislative arm of government, and those who are part of the executive arm of government, the district chief executives and municipal chief executives, maybe using this data to be able to make sure that we will have a policy formulation and implementation in this country to be able to support and, if you like, ameliorate the poverty challenges in Ghana as per the sustainable development goals which we are supposed to achieve by 2030.
Mudi efie no ene ye pese ebisa se Ghana ha se no ema ne mema no ho amopa na wohia ne wo mo so pa.
Well, no a bit difficult for me to give it to you right now, but the ABN give it to me enyama regional breakdown, because regional breakdown there issues are na say bebia ohia no ewo you will do something because we share some regions. In fact, we are doing so well to the extent that in 2020 in the Greater Accra region, now the poverty line was about 22.5%. In 2024, improve at the about 11.7%. We catch us 11.7% in the Crampono, still a Chesapeake, but go to United States of America. In the United States of America, you have about 37.5 million people who are living in poverty. But be across the world, poverty will honor. But 2020, now the poverty line and as a poverty index, about 22.5% or greater. About 11.7. It tells you that government is doing something right. In Ashanti region, that is my home region. In 2020, now the poverty line about 31.1%. And now Menoka which is 2024. The Ghana Statistical Service say from 31.1% to 18.3%. Again, in Eastern region, the president's home region, now poverty line, 2020 local elections, the poverty line was about 44.0%. Now in 2024, fast forward, COVID issues in by 2024, the poverty line has dropped from 44.0% to 21.7% in Eastern region. Now in the Central region, so now 47.6%. And also Eswati Ediaba 22.5%. Uba baby to say voter region, which has been the stronghold of the NDC, they be a normal Maya Sumundriano. Now the poverty line in 2020 58.2%. Sisi Amnoka say the combination of the voter, that is the current voter, and the new voter, which is OT region, to about 27.3% and 40.8% respectively, which is below that 58.2%. Regions, all the 16 regions are doing well. There have been improvement in all the regions. There have been and I say that again. There have been improvement in all the regions as far as poverty line are concerned. In fact, Oko Brown half region, the new Bono and the Bono East and half regions there has been a reduction in the poverty line figures, which I think it's a right direction for us as Ghanaians.
Yo, yemre ni tie de besi ese nyame adwe besa baby ne bisa se mantam no de na wo so na de na wo fom na hini fa na ye betimi aye adwuma na mana ba fom na ye ho atoye. Yane oswafo abedi echi ohwe nkronkitwa ni kwase mpuntuo so onmonyamfo Eko Vincent Asifo na di enkomo de efa eye multi-dimensional poverty rate and as the index no mo eyoye no and what the breakdown no amayensania esi etie. Na yehwe ni ahodo na ekoso omanganem na aban edemra ekomrahye bedwam se ye begina so e be hye ne kete saba bi ba ento aso school ye kwafri SHS no wonhwe na wonfa ne nsa enka eno na Ghana National Education Campaign Coalition for edi atodwa akire mu se sa free education ye policy dada enti ye den na basade policy biem ekomrahye bedwam wache omadwen ede afa ho.
So we know that in any way bekase enye program abeboa the challenges that we all observed and as a witnessed when it comes to the implementation of the policy. One, the aspect of the feeding component has been a challenge. We know the numbers has also increased when it comes to the intake of students into the program. Now the numbers has increased. What it means is that we need enough infrastructure to be able to accommodate the numbers. Policy now, they call parliament, we have ensured all these identified problems have been well addressed so that moving forward we wouldn't be faced with all the challenges now you face in the implementation of the free SHS policy will still persist.
Yadikasi bono potemu emua na adwuma ko kroman eye efukura ai no adwuma ko enyan mensinim ewo mfimfiri matemu na adehye no ene UTV edin kombo akire se omokwanye empuntunwuma no ewo fom enunti aban entwena ni mehwewo adehye kire se ekwan no se de ayi monchimonka na esese wonom ahyen no eha adwen papapa enso oti hoi kuya ene wonom eyo ye kuya yi eye banche ebro
ene atosode edua no mo eye no mpotam ho enam so ayi so amohia bubra dokro ene se ahyen anase enya de a wo mo basan so obi ampese ne hyen ebesei we ya de ha adwen papa eye
omomomodan no mo hwe no mo sis on be kwan no mai ye de nam disi do onko regional minister onko Rose ministry na mo hwe na kwan no mo aye na onwie kwan mai na ebibia da wondo na kwan so ye adekase a ye hia de makro no kokro no ye beto no aye national cake obi anya bi ye de kase a ye sre fra ban ho de on be hwa abo ye kwan no te sre on bebre omo hwe no mo di demu juma no enfame na se su to na yeko ne ye ba no na aye asemdenden di amaye mesre se me dan na me ketrema cause na yekodidwa ye fifa ye kudie ye ku anoma na ye de kwa koton no adwuma ko ne denchira ka no kwa enko ka no ba emba abeya adesoa kese di amaye ti ye besre ya aban se yesre no onhwe no munwe kwan man na isu ne esi from no tembia be ma ye ho akire e wo yedwumadie ne yakọ ne abanimo
ekwan yin wale bia ofi esiem odekopan komem to abasa wo sha se wo agya kwan na asente ese wo bebre se disi ye ti ambachiro omama amampanyin na asente na ese wo be kwan ma he na ye bre nsuta intum kan intum nko ensamba ese wo bebre kotase na ye desre ho omo ye bobo na wo ye kwan ma he tuta okwan asai nti kala baba fa ko fa nua na odabese kwan krogasem no untuma mba na nyima ndene na nyina gwa na nyina asai
sane se o kan se afi we de year of the road and nti ne yen da kwan nyame adomare yen ye bia contractor start ye adwuma wo kwantenuma de ko anyina baasa but e kwan na che be 2 years ni contractor no so afi road no do a sese ye adwuma o ye nyina o mo agi ye guo nti ye said ADC the omon hwe na omon boaye na insuo yina yimi nsuo ne twa yintumi mfo kokko ne mpo ene ya kokko ne mu enti yesre aban na na nemsefo ze omon boaye na yenso yenya na aban ekan ne ho mfaso ne bi edu anwumbre na se nsutwa na drivers ne kwa ye mpese eboko ne nyina aso ne de wokompo a wonya bi mba ne nti na kwai ayedi osande wokọ na wokonya fota sabe no waka nti nya de a obetuma akọ the time no na edom ne won kwa ntenum a omunya ka akwa enkokromem nti yesere ekwan ne de no kwa ne nsu ayi na yime de ye bre wodo papa eso yeto kokọ na wofo kwa na wokọ kromem ku no mu no eso yeto nti ye bre wodo pa ye ka esese utumefo na wate wasan yame anye wa adoma amra got esese de wono wa hwe a uwure ma na so akwaye akwanhia ene so ha adwen ye pa
Nananom ahyenkafo ene adehwemu ogumwa nyanya na ogumwa ismesin mu fimfiri mantemu ekire mu se kane omumra hyebedwani aseso ye NPP amayuku no penyina wogino mu anemu owura akwadwo asemeyi wo mo ebo na baso pa afise bre na oye mrahybedwani no wodi mpuntuo ba okoye nso onya omumu osadi mpuntuo ba enu nti omo eda na sia ensada
ebo honorable kwadwo asemeyi na bat wa
abemo ona bugo jasmeni ma fere ma kwedire ma bona bado papa de na benya afande onye me parliament bio na so o se timo o mama ni nya mugo mafuntino ana nya mu nya no funtino o ntumi hwe ma de ma kwan onkoda na o he de mi to na ka so obeyi ni kotokum sika no da ye reshaping admo wo person mama nkum nyanzi o so abedi mama asmeni firo and that's more ba no o ka so obo no wa kwan wa ye since that's more ba na do today 4 years ni even at all so won ne kasempo na asma aka chen nya gira to free ana onya no mind de na ba na atso nti o ye biala onye yi am the busumini mama asmeni ababa dabas na ye meeting I show you there when obama wa ye when nkopon chada asmeni abama ori when vat yen waje en pan na obetum aye na
Saturday me basene kwaye program bi wo nyanya no na ehwa amona donko a watoto asas ekwani do ekwani mesmo waye na ehwa nkofa wogu nyanya no krom at about 50 prata. The contractor is not being fair to the good people of Ninyano. No, I'm a big problem. On the Munti, and whatever the case, you know, Mangasa Mukotokumusika, but the Baba Namada Basha there, you be grade the Kwano, at least you Kwano, compared to my Kwaba, because the time contractor Nangasa better over site. Now, it being out of there being, I am a year there, you're one member of parliament. no to organize nkrofo there was a demonstration about a month ago me see na nkrofo bi by a demonstration we find on to me schedule nkrofo the organize one by demonstration na 30,000 40,000 50,000 ebe year to common fund na ja be su kwan do na ekwan me MP na kwan mpo one for my contract not on short distance today from Nyano Kakaba to Nyano. At least every 6 months be able to get the best of them why so that the good people of Nyano can go and come. Now they MP for 3.5 years, 4 years, almost 4 years. They be a mayor kwanu could do why asphalt could do the same thing in quantity. Our in of parliament, your friend and contractor and Masai. Our roads minister in Kwanwa. I also in his country who come on fund. Make you and met city and met Muko to Kumska and there. Make you go to Kumska. Come on fund Nangasasa is go Muna photo diesel grade and a grader on by my so into me. It is Canada that's Okotokum. Inti Yabasa Amanfo. Nino woman chado 7 December. One mama much made mother. Adnara, if you are and on Yano cross there, why ban you and to me? Why ban to me another day?
Yejina we say so ahumi abayeba bongo di faradi agudi eba betwa so yeba sisia.